There are sounds you only start to hear when you're alone long enough. That's what I told myself the first night I moved into apartment 3B. A small, plain, one-bedroom unit, faded wallpaper, squeaky windows, and a smell like old coffee and forgotten secrets. But it was cheap and quiet, or so I thought. The manager said the place next door, 3A, had been empty for months. That meant fewer neighbors to worry about, and for someone like me, someone who just wanted to start over, quiet was a blessing. At least it was for the first week. The sound started on a Tuesday, a dragging noise, slow and heavy, like someone pulling furniture across the floor. At first, I thought nothing of it, maybe a janitor or maintenance, but the next night, it came again, same time, same rhythm. Only now, it was followed by a soft cry, a woman's voice, barely audible, almost muffled through a wall. It came from next door, the empty apartment. I knocked once, nothing. Twice, still silence. Then, a faint whisper through the wall. "Help me." The next morning, I told the manager. He frowned, scratching his head like he didn't want to answer. "There's nobody living in 3A, he said. "We haven't rented that unit since, well, since the accident." "What accident?" I asked, but he only waved his hand. "Just ignore it. Buildings have memories, you know." That night, I couldn't sleep. I pressed my ear to the wall, and again, that dragging sound, followed by a cry. Then a whisper, clearer this time. "Please, don't let him find me." I grabbed my phone and hit record. If the manager wouldn't believe me, I'd show him proof. But when I played the audio back, I heard something I hadn't heard live. A man's voice, deep, slow, and chillingly calm. "Stop moving," he said. "She can hear us." My hand went cold. The next day, I took the phone to the police. They listened, looked at each other, then one of them shrugged. Could be a prank. Old buildings echo weird. Still, they agreed to check it out. They went into 3A while I waited outside. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Finally, one officer came out, pale as paper. "No one's in there," he said, "but you might want to stay somewhere else for a few nights." When they left, I peeked into the room through the slightly open door. It smelled like dust and rusted metal. No furniture, just a dark stain on the carpet. And on the far wall, a single note, taped with yellowed Scotch tape. In shaky handwriting, it said, "Thanks for listening." I shut the door and ran back to my apartment. That night, the crying stopped. For the first time in days, I slept deeply. Until 3:14 a.m., when someone knocked on my door. 3 slow knocks, then a whisper. Soft, familiar. "Can I stay here?" "He's in your walls now." I froze. Every muscle in my body screamed to move, but I couldn't. The knocking turned into scratching. Long nails dragging down the door, then silence. I waited for dawn. When light finally hit the hallway, I opened my door. No one there, but there were fingerprints on the handle, small, delicate, like a woman's hand. I called the manager again. He didn't answer. So I went downstairs to the office. The door was unlocked. Inside, empty chair, half-drunk coffee, phone ringing. On the desk sat an old building file labeled Tenant History, 3A to 3B. I flipped through it. Photos of past residents, rental forms. And then, a police report, dated 6 years ago. Tenant of 3A reported missing after domestic disturbance. Evidence of struggle, but no body recovered. Neighbor in 3B moved out shortly after. Her name was Clara Rains, age 29, last seen alive at 3 a.m. I stared at the photo. She looked familiar. Hair dark, eyes hollow but kind. Then I realized she looked like the woman I'd seen in my dream the night before. That evening, I packed to leave. But when I grabbed my phone, there was a new voicemail. No number, just blank. I pressed play. At first, static. Then, a soft voice. Don't go. He'll follow you. I dropped the phone. It kept playing, louder. He's in the walls. He listens through the cracks. And then, a male voice. She never learns. The audio ended with the sound of a doorknob turning. Then silence. I turned slowly toward my bedroom door. The handle was moving. I ran out of the apartment, straight down the stairs, barefoot, shaking. The night security guard saw me and ran over. He looked confused when I told him someone was in my unit. He went up to check. When he came back down, he was white as chalk. The place is empty, he said, except, he hesitated. There's a mirror in your bedroom, and it's cracked from the inside. I didn't go back after that. I moved out the next day. New address, new phone, new life. But sometimes, at night, when I close my eyes, I hear it again. That dragging sound, that faint whisper, and a voice saying, "Thanks for listening." Last month, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a photograph. It was my bedroom, the one from 3B. And standing in the reflection of the broken mirror was me. Only I was smiling, and behind me, a man's face. Half shadow, half bone. Some apartments never really go empty. They just wait for someone new to start listening.